Welcome back, everyone, to another edition of Wichita Sportsfellas.
What's up, guys? It's your Buckeye Believin', Rock Chalk Jayhawkin', Wichita State Shockin', Who Dey Hopeful, Chris with a K.
And it's your boy Tristan.
Dude, it sounded exciting, and then you just went. You're just treating it like the stock market, bro. You just
I was setting it up.
Come
too.
on, Tristan. Come on. This is fresh, new, and this is your host, your friend, the Rated R superstar, Carlos in the house. We are here, you guys. We're going to talk a little about the NFL draft, also the NBA, and then we have our new show, our new segment, Eddie Money Sports Thoughts. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. So let's give a quick pause and thank to our following sponsors.
1990, Wichita's own Superstar Sports has everything for the fans' needs, whereas for NBA, NFL, MLB, NHL, or either college. So please check them out at either the Town West Mall in Wichita, Kansas, or the Town East Mall, Wichita, Kansas, whereas Superstar Sports, where every fan is welcome.
All right. So, hey, Chris, so we got the NBA playoffs. We're now entering the second round. We have right now the Milwaukee Bucks going against the Boston Celtics. We also have the Philadelphia 76ers going against the Miami Heat. My team, the Dallas Mavericks, is going to go against the Phoenix Suns. And we have the Memphis Grizzlies going against the favorite high-octane Golden State Warriors. So, Chris, I'm going to go ahead and start this off with you. So we got Milwaukee, the Bucks going against the Boston Celtics. Who are you taking and why?
Well, I've got to go. I'm not, just to be fair, don't use this for betting advice. I'm not by any means an NBA expert, but I do follow it lightly. And for this one, I would definitely have to go with Milwaukee and the Bucks. I mean, Giannis is still playing out of his mind, man. He's MVP last year. He's going to – I think he was the MVP. He was voted this year, wasn't he, for MVP? Didn't he wind up did they announce that? I know it was between him and Embiid, and I don't know if they actually announced it, but I'm pretty sure he won it this year. If he didn't, he should have. So I've definitely got him taking Milwaukee over Boston for that reason.
Well, here's my deal on that. So Milwaukee is the current national champions of the NBA.
Defenders,
they are defending their title, and they're going against a team that right now, Boston, they're playing great basketball. They swept the Nets. They sent Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving. Well, he was already home anyway. I don't know what his deal was, but they sent a team that was
Simmons,
favorite. They were favorite to go deep in the Eastern Conference, and they are first exit out, kind of like the Kansas City Chiefs. Let me see. Wait, so we got to throw in a little. Let's throw a little.
Just won their first.
Just it's okay. Let's just shots a little fired. Shout out to.
I was thinking more like the Steelers. Oh, Eric, wish you were here to defend that,
Eric,
buddy. Sorry.
This guy. No, but and so in all fairness, back to basketball. We'll keep it basketball. Let's keep it basketball here. Here's the deal. Boston is a dangerous team. They're playing well.
They are.
They got a great
coach.
And now you got Milwaukee, and right now they're missing their guy, Chris Middleton. He is injured right now, and their reports are saying that he is not going to be playing in this series. So we're facing a scenario now where everyone else from the bench on up to Drew Holiday and Giannis, they're going to have to step up. Now, they've been there and done that. They've already, like I said, they're already experienced. They're already battle-tested. Boston, this is their chance to prove a point. And so you've taken Milwaukee. I'm going to take Boston.
Yeah?
I'm going to go ahead and take Boston in this round. I feel Boston has all their pieces in place with Marcus Smart right now. I mean, hey, shout out to him. That guy's great to watch. And even though I'm not a Boston fan, I do respect the Boston Celtics. So I'll take Boston. You'll take Milwaukee. Next up, we have the Philadelphia 76ers going against the Miami Heat. Oh, man, our KU player, shout out to the University of Kansas. We'll talk about them here in a second. Joel Embiid is out for the year with I don't know. I barely pass anatomy. What was it called? The orbital he had a fracture.
Fracture in his face, right?
In his face. Simple.
Well, and he was already dealing with in that last playoff game to overcome Doc Rivers' playoff failings and finally win a series. he was playing with, I think, a messed up ligament in one of his hands already in his thumb. So he was already struggling and kind of limping in. And Harden is just not given much of anything. I mean, he's putting up just lackadaisical numbers. And, he's never been a super defensive force. So with Embiid out, I think Miami is just going to say, hey, we were number 1 seed this year for a reason. And lay the foot down, smash them down in a 4-game sweep.
In other words, in the Spanish term, Miami's going to give them the fuego. It's going to be the fuego. They're going to roast the Philadelphia 76ers.
The heat, it's going to get hot.
It's going to get real hot. It's going to get hot. And I'll tell you right now, Miami is also playing very well. And the way I see it is you got a team again. This is a team that went to the championship the year before. So they got a chip on their shoulder right now.
And they're the number 1 seed.
So
nobody talks about it.
I'm not going to say they're going to go all out and win. I don't know that yet. All I'm just saying is that why not? If they can get over Philadelphia and analyze, because remember, they lost to Milwaukee last year, if I'm not mistaken. So they've got a chip on the shoulder. But I'm going to take Miami in this series. Next up, we have my team, the Dallas Mavericks, going against the Phoenix Suns. So the Phoenix Suns last year was the Western Conference Finals champion, and they lost to the Milwaukee Bucks. Right now,
tough series though.
It was a tough series. It was fun. It was a fun series.
Chris Paul finally
made it to a final,
looking like he belonged for a little bit of that.
Yeah, and then like he always does in the playoffs, kind of towards the end, but it wasn't his fault. It's just one of those things. Milwaukee wanted it more, and they played phenomenal. That was a great game. One of my favorite games still in the playoffs has to be still when beat the Nets in Game 7 in Brooklyn. That was I think I chewed out all my nails. It was bad. It was bad. I was hurting. But anyways, so we have the Dallas Mavericks. Luka has won his first game in his first series game. They're going against a team that's already experienced. Dallas right now has all the cards to win. Sure. Literally. They can go in there and beat the Suns. They're familiar with the Suns. Devin Booker's out right now. We don't know how long he's going to be out. So this is to their advantage. So I'm going to take my team, the Dallas Mavericks, but I think it'll be to Game 7.
Think it'll be
it'll be to 7. I'll say 7.
I think the Mavericks are going to try to get it done sooner than that to hopefully prevent Booker from getting back to the floor for the Suns. So I think I'd go for the Mavs on this one as well. I think Luka down there is going to he's itching to get a little further into the playoffs. I think it's time for him to start.
Luka, coming from a Mavs fans, I have Dirk jerseys, Jason Kidd. I want to buy your jersey, Luka. If you're hearing this show, I know you're hearing it. I know you are. I know it's in your playlist. Make it happen, and I'm gonna wear your jersey, bro. But in the meantime, like Tristan, I said, you're a phenomenal player.
Are you a Mavs fan, Tristan?
No, I'm actually a Grizzlies fan.
Oh.
But I don't pay enough attention to basketball to, put any details on statistics or anything like that.
Well, I'm glad you asked because that's next up. We have the Memphis Grizzlies, Tristan's team, going against the Golden State Warriors. Okay, so FYI, Golden State did not make the playoffs last year. They had a terrible season. Now they're back in full force.
Well, and they were out early the year before, weren't they?
The year before, yes. I wouldn't say super early. They were.
They didn't make it to the finals though.
No. Last year, last year,
everyone was hurt last year.
The Suns went in the year before. It was the Lakers. That was with LeBron.
Right
now, John Morant. This guy is so fun to watch. And then you got Steve Adams. Remember Adams that used to play with the Oklahoma City Thunder?
Yeah.
This is a fun team to watch. They took Minnesota to the limits, like the song The Eagles. Mm-hmm. For all the old timers out there, they know. If you don't know, then just keep listening. So here's the deal. Golden State is a dangerous team. They are the most dangerous team in the NBA. They've got experience. They're already a three-time. In total, they are if I'm not mistaken, they're a four-time national champions, NBA Finals champion. I think they're 4. But Steve Curry and Draymond,
two without
they have 3. No, they have 3. They have 3. They had 2 with KD
and 1 without.
Yes.
The 72 or the year they broke the
Yes, they beat the
Wins
1990-96 record of the
Mhm.
Chicago Bulls.
and then lost in the finals, didn't they?
if
Isn't
they
that
did
year-
lose the
that's
finals,
that's the year they lost to Cleveland.
yeah, they lost to Cleveland, and then the other finals they lost was to the Toronto Raptors.
Yeah.
Yes, I loved it because our Wichita
Yeah,
guy,
Fred
Fred
Van
Van Fleet, that was awesome. But anyway, so Tristan, you're taking the Grizzlies, right?
Yes.
Okay, even though you don't know nothing about the
no
Grizzlies.
reason except I just like the team. Jaws has been doing great.
Did you see that dunk he put?
Yeah.
on? that's nice. That was nice. So what we're gonna do is, Chris, we're gonna challenge more about this as the games progress. So stay tuned, you guys. We will go in a little bit more in depth with the NBA.
Especially once we get to the finals.
Oh yes, yes. We're gonna have special edition shows. So real quick, let's go ahead and give a quick pause and give our attention and thanks to our following sponsors.
What's up, folks? It's your pal, Chris with a K. Let me introduce you to a new friend of mine, Ryan Wagner at Wag Sports Memorabilia in Des Moines, Iowa. Your number one source for sports memorabilia. We're talking hats, t-shirts, jackets, and all sorts of other items. And not only that, Ryan can get you any of these items for any team, NCAA, NFL, NBA, and the Major League Baseball guys. So make sure if you're in Iowa, and especially Des Moines, stop in at Wag Sports Memorabilia. Also find them on the web at www.wagsports.com. Thanks, Ryan. You guys have a great day.
We want to give out a special thanks to the University of Kansas for winning the national championship.
Chalk, baby!
So from the Sports Fellas show here, we want to give a quick shout out to some known KU big fans here. You know, our friends here, Brian Watkins. We got Andrew. We got Travis. We also have everyone that's all the KU fans that are alumni. Heidi, do you know any KU fans that you want to say shout outs for?
No, man. I'm
Okay,
from
Tristan, I don't
Texas.
even know why I asked you.
I'm from
bro.
Texas. You know, everything's like Tech or Texas.
Okay, no one's talking about them. Okay,
Yeah.
next.
I got some big fans. I got Don Dana Ruddick. Big shout out to you, my good friend, and my good friends Damon and Kay Young. Also, my sister and her husband Dina and Matt. They're graduates and also big fans because they're alumni. So big shout out to those guys. Rock Chalk.
And also, we want to give a quick shout out and thanks also to the Rally House and Superstar Sports here in Wichita, Kansas.
Where
So if
did you guys watch the national championship?
Okay.
I know you're not a big fan, but your national championship,
No, I did not watch it.
didn't watch it. Did you watch it?
Yes, they beat my team.
Oh, yeah,
the University
you're
of North Carolina. But it's okay.
Did you think it was in the bag at half? Like at half, I was
yes.
like,
Yes, I was.
I turned it off for a little while.
Okay.
I had to go for a walk.
Okay, so hear me out, Chris. Hear me out, please. Okay, so during the first half, I had my KU shirts out. I was excited. I mean, not KU, but my North Carolina shirt. I had it ready to go. I was like, wow, we won. Then once the marker was going down, and I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and kind of tuck this back in. Just let's play it out. Let's see what's going on. And then when they lost, I was like, wow, did this really happen? So, you know, my sister is a huge KU fan. Also, you know, Brent Bandy and the family, they're big KU fans. I had to go into work the next day, and then hearing from all these KU fans, oh, did you see that? I was like, yeah, I know. But I told them, hey, I don't hate KU. I am from Kansas. I'm proud from Kansas. And I am proud that these guys did a great job. So to me, I'm happy. And shout out to all our Duke fans out there. You didn't win. So that's great for me.
Yeah, hey, you guys ended. I mean, how good does that feel that North Carolina ended?
Nobody
Krzyzewski's
had
career?
North Carolina. I don't care who it is. Maybe a few numbers. But statistically saying, I don't think nobody had North Carolina going in. Not
Duke
even
was
I.
definitely the betting favorite.
Right. So, again, congratulations to you guys. And so, you know, from Sports Fellas here, we want to say congrats.
And KU also throughout the tournament, I think it was after the first round. I think it was after the second round of the tournament became the winningest basketball program in college history, overtaking Kentucky, who bounced out after the first round. Oh, shout out to my Kentucky friends.
Yeah, so I'll tell you that one. Yeah.
So yeah, Rock Chalk Jayhawk on that. That's a good. That's it's been a long time. Big thing for Bill Self to get his second national championship. He's already in the Hall of Fame. I mean, but and especially after the 2020 year when they had Udoka and Dotson and were by far, I mean, they were the number one team in the nation by a good stretch, and by far the favorites for that tournament, and it had a lot of tournament experience, good chance to go deep into it, and of course that's when they canceled the tournament 2 days before the tournament started because of the pandemic. So
that's great. And like I said, congratulations again. So now on to the NFL. So before that, again, we want to say again, thank you again to our following sponsors.
Razor Cut Information would like to thank you, Ernie Reles, at State Farm, located at 11330 East Central, Wichita, Kansas. Please visit Ernie to talk about your home, auto, life insurance needs. As they say, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Thank you, Ernie.
We want to thank all our sponsors because, you guys, we do this because we are very involved in our community. We want to give everyone, because we like to keep things at home. So before you guys go online, for that, if there's something we can do at home, please support small businesses. We'd greatly appreciate that. So, all right, Tristan, we're going to talk some NFL now. I know you're excited.
Yeah,
I can
let's
tell.
go.
I can tell you're very
Chomping
excited.
at the bit.
So, what we're going to do is we're going to break this down just real quick, and we're going to go off just from 1 to 32 in a rapid fire segment as quick as we can. I'm going to start this off with you, Tristan. So, Jacksonville Jaguars picked up Trayvon Walker, defensive end from Georgia. Do you like, don't like? Tell me why.
I mean, that gives them an extra body to get to pass rush. I don't know much about Jacksonville. I don't really pay attention to what their needs were, but did they make any offensive, changes at all in the draft, or
They picked up some linemen, I believe.
some linemen? That's good. Yeah, I felt like they didn't really need, like, let's say receivers. They have some young starters on offense.
They got
so
one center and a running back.
one center running
That's who
back.
they went with for their 7 rounds.
Okay.
Well, what about you, Chris?
They went pretty strong with defense. Trayvon Walker, I mean, I think he was considered a little bit more of a project than, say, Aiden Hutchinson. But when you don't have a major standout quarterback like a like a Joe Burrow, Trevor Lawrence, Andrew Luck kind of guy, it's a crapshoot. When you're up there and we've got 3 guys that all measure within a fraction of whatever the measurement is on everything, and they all have great tape. They're all smashing the crap out of everybody, and all their deficiencies as a pro coach. I probably think I can fix whatever little thing might be wrong with them. So I mean, Jacksonville, hopefully they've finally got a good coach.
Yeah.
They've got an experienced, but I'm not a huge fan. I think Trent Baalke is their general manager. I'm not a huge fan of him.
I don't like the owner.
I don't. Well, Shad Khan.
Yeah,
he's not afraid to spend.
he looks
money,
like he's
though.
Ron Jeremy's brother. He looks like Ron Jeremy.
He's
telling
got
you.
the crazy hair. He's just a dude that's so rich nobody tells him no, or that, hey man, shave. Like it's 2022. Got to clean that stuff up, dude.
I want to go to Jacksonville just so I can go in the swimming pool. Like,
Right?
hey, I'm here to see
Yeah.
the game, but you're actually swimming. Like, dude, are you watching the game or are you
No,
swimming?
I'm
What
just
are you trying to do? But here's the thing. Trayvon Walker, great job in the national championship, especially against Alabama. He was giving Alabama such a hard time. Alabama couldn't get nothing going, especially once our top wide receiver went down with a torn ACL. It was just easy from there. I feel that Hutchinson's a little bit of a better player than Walker, but here's my thing. I think Hutchinson was more sought out. So Jacksonville, especially with Doug Pearson, the guy's got a Super Bowl ring. He's got experience. He saw something in him that said, hey, you know what? We're in the AFC South. We need to jam up, especially when they're going against Tennessee. We got to jam up their run game, especially with Derrick Henry.
Oh, and
when
you
we're
got
playing against the Colts, now you've got Matt Ryan that's going to be happy throwing the ball. He's not a scrambler. So they need someone fast to get off the edge.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, is Doug Peterson a 3-4 or 4-3? I believe he's a 3-4 coach.
I think so, but I'm not.
My
100%
guess is
sure.
he'd probably bring in a coordinator that's going to fit the personnel. Like I don't know that he's going to necessarily pick.
Well, hopefully him. Is
they've
Tom
been
Coughlin? Hold that thought. Is Tom Coughlin still the general manager for the Jaguars?
Tom Coughlin was like an assistant president of something.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hopefully, you would assume that Tom Coughlin would know his stuff. I
he's
mean, the
a
guy's got
defensive
two. He's got 2 Super Bowl rings.
They've been a
with the
4-3 for a pretty long. They've been a pretty steady
Okay.
4-3 for a while. So I think that
Okay, so we'll say it's yet to be seen, but we'll keep an eye on you, Trayvon. So next up, Chris, the Detroit Lions got Aiden Hutchinson from Michigan.
Great pick for them.
Yep.
I mean, they got the king of Michigan coming to the Michigan team in Detroit. So that's a great signing for him. As we were just saying, talking about Walker, how Aiden Hutchinson's probably at least at first, he's the more rock steady production guy from what he's produced thus far. I mean, once you get to the NFL, all bets are off, and you have guys come from small schools that blow the tops off. It's just about how they work, and maybe Walker didn't have quite although he was at Georgia and their entire team got drafted. It felt like so.
I think it was 14 people got drafted.
Yeah,
that beat Alabama like 2 years ago with 12 or something.
And I think their entire offensive line or defensive line got drafted within the first couple rounds.
That's crazy.
So that's what I'm
All
like. That's where
superstars
it's
on that
like,
team.
well, Walker had these great guys next to him, and Hutchinson didn't have. I mean, he did. He was at a Big Ten powerhouse, Michigan, so he did have great guys next to him, but he produced a little bit more, I think, even with that, and with probably not quite as strong guys as Georgia. So, yeah, I think it was a great pick for Lions. I think Lion fans are happy. And fits Dan Campbell's mold, I'm sure.
So here's the deal with Detroit Lions. I'm happy, too, they picked up. Shout out also to our Michigan fans, LT and Chuck. They're big, go blue. Hey, Chris, slow your roll, Buckeye. Slow your roll.
It's just a
Here's the deal.
Instinctual
Here's the
reaction.
thing with Aiden Hutchinson. The guy, finally, they got that monkey off their back when they beat Ohio State in the Big Ten. It was the Big Ten championship, right? They beat them, or it was during the regular season?
I think that was the regular season game.
Okay, they beat them. That's all. Hutchinson is crafty. The guy's got good footwork. He's going to put the pressure on. Detroit has not had anybody that kind of spontaneous since Ndamukong Suh, in my opinion. The problem is with Detroit, offensively, they do great. They pick up all these wide receiver weapons, a little bit of a running back, not bad. But the problem is their defense, they always get rolled over. They get rolled over. And I feel now with the new changes in coaching, now they're going to focus on defense because here you go. You're in the NFC North. You're going against Aaron Rodgers again. You don't know what's going on in Chicago. And Minnesota, barely you deal with Kirk Cousins. But if Detroit wants to make their staple in the NFC North, they got to start getting more detailed, more stealth mode when it comes to the defense. Because offensively, if Jared Goff can just stick with his role, use his wide receivers, get the running game going. I mean, heck, what's his name? The tight end there, what's his name? Hawkinson? What's his name?
T.J. Hawkinson.
He was
He
great.
was great.
He's
so
amazing.
now if Jared Goff can say, okay, you know what? If the defense can get us on the field and we can get points, they're doing their job. And I feel Hutchinson is the first piece going forward. So we're wishing him the best because last year on the show, I was rooting for Detroit a lot, especially that game against Baltimore. That was such a
They should have
heartbreaker.
won that game.
They should have won that.
It was. I mean, there was a penalty. The clock ran out.
Yeah.
It ran out.
Still amazing. So,
But they what surprises me is they didn't do something to get some sort of project backup for Goff. And maybe they have him on the team. Maybe they did that last year, and he wasn't good enough to pay attention to. But they did get him a few other options throughout the draft. I mean, they got the Ohio State Williams in the second round, or no, 12th overall. That's right. There was a trade for them to get 12th overall. I guess we'll talk about him in a minute.
Gotcha. So let's go ahead. Let's move on to the Houston Texans. They picked up Derek Stingley Jr., the corner from LSU, the Bayou team. Shout out to Josh, big LSU fan. You gotta give a shout out to the Go Tigers. Gotta do it. So Houston Texans, they're in a huge rebuilding mode right now. This is a great piece. LSU produces great offensive weapons, defense, and the cornerback positions is kind of crazy, but them and the wide receiver positions were pretty high this year in the draft. And what I like about this kid was the way he locks up. He locks up pretty well on the wide receivers. He gave Williamson a hard time in Alabama too. I mean, Alabama barely squeaked by beating LSU, and that's a big rival game. But Texans did a great job on that. They have a lot to do, and especially in that division, they're going to be playing last for quite a while until they start getting all their pieces back together. So they're a rebuilding project. So any thoughts on that, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, but how much? I mean, with as much things as they need, how much does a cornerback or a D back? He's not even a corner. I guess that puts him as a safe a hybrid, maybe.
Put him anywhere probably.
Kind
I
of.
guess they'll see how he adjusts.
And he didn't. He had a great year his freshman year in college, but he didn't. His production which maybe they weren't. They were throwing away from him on purpose, so he couldn't get a lot of stuff, or running away from him, so he wasn't getting a lot of stats. So I don't know. I mean, I feel like maybe Texans need more help than just a defensive back, but maybe that was who was on the top of their draft board. But you also had some big, I think an edge, maybe, like Thibodeau, who went later on to the Giants, or one of those big offensive tackles might have been a little more helpful to that team than another cornerback. But I don't know exactly what if maybe that is their biggest need. Maybe their room is super, super thin at cornerback.
All right.
I feel
So
like it's just a kind of a mess in Houston.
Yeah,
I mean, they are in a rebuilding stage. They picked some good draft picks, but like you said, it's not going to do much for them this season.
if Chuck was on the show right now, I'd tell him you got a lot of rebuilding to do. So
definitely, man.
let's go ahead.
And they had a lot of picks. They had they had quite a few picks in this round, and they did pick up some other players, but keep going. Yeah, just keep going.
Yeah, we're just gonna keep going because this that could be a conversation.
I keep forgetting that so many of these teams had multiple first-round picks.
Right. All right, let's go ahead. Let's gear it up next. So we have the New York Jets. They got Ahmed Gardner, another cornerback from Cincinnati.
The sauce.
So this is interesting. Cincinnati had a great season. Congratulations on making it to the college playoffs. I'm glad that another school that's not a powerhouse school that got in. He proved himself well. I mean, he had a tough time a little bit against a game against Alabama. But the Jets right now, why not? They need to start rebuilding. New England has beaten them for so many years. And then they've had so-and-so games with the Bills and the Jets. But now this is their time to get back on the boat here. So hopefully we'll see what happens. I still don't think they're a threat anytime soon. No. But still, we'll see what happens.
This is going to be a good defense. Sauce Gardner's great. I'm a kind of a fan of Cincinnati. So pay attention to some of and they had a great year. They've had a great year the last 2 years. They should have been in the CFP 2 years ago as well. But they went to one of the next level bowl games and wound up winning that one. That's why I think they were able to make it to the CFP. And then Guyana got their doors blown off this year. But hey, that was a big step, like you said, big step to have someone outside the Power 5 in there. So of course they're going to be Power 5 in. Are they coming to Big 12 next year, or is it 2 years?
It's 2 years. If I'm not mistaken, it's going to be 2 years.
BYU, Houston, BYU, and Cincinnati, and UCF.
UCF.
Yeah.
All
so
right.
yeah, I think that's a great pickup, and good luck to you, Gardner.
Yeah, I think the Jets had an amazing draft. They got basically a cornerback 1, a wide receiver 1, and a running back 1.
Unfortunately for the Jets, I've seen them have great off seasons, but they're still the Jets when the when the games get real.
I think with them is there's just too tough a division to even make the playoffs. I feel like it's
there's a curse of something going on there. So I'm not well versed in the Jets history, but
despite those picks, it's gonna be tough.
All right, so moving on, we have the New York Giants, the true New York team. I don't know. That's what they say. I mean, when you're coming off you're a 4-time Super Bowl champion to the 1 of the Jets. We got Kayvon Thibodeau. French. It's French. So defensive end, shout out to my boy Ryan Still. He's a huge Oregon Ducks fan. They picked him up, defensive end. Now, on my end, this is great. I'm happy for him. I mean, he is not as strong as Hutchinson and Walker, but he is fast.
Yeah.
The guy in the Pac-12, he was shaking. There was a game I saw against Arizona. The guy had to get that ball out quick. This guy was coming after him. And right now, the Giants was poor last year. They were so poor getting to the quarterback. I mean, it was just ridiculous. And so now this is their opportunity. They need to start freshening up, because the thing is with the Cowboys been running with the division. Washington, they're kind of mediocre. Well, they are mediocre. The Eagles have found some light.
I got the
since
Eagles
playoffs.
taking the division.
So no one's talking about the Eagles right now.
No, I
You
got
see,
the Eagles
You're
this
too
year.
quick, man. You're too fast. You're too fast. But anyway, so right now, this is a good stepping piece going forward. So we'll see where they stand at. Let's go on to number 6. We have Carolina Panthers. They picked up. Now, I apologize to the players. It's just I'm not familiar well-rounded with your name. Akeem
I'm not even gonna try.
Ikwinanu. Hey, you know what?
Sorry.
Offensive tackle for North Carolina State. Carolina right now, this is another team that they're in the NFC South, where they are faced with a lot of adversity. I mean, now you got the Saints. They're rebuilding. You got Atlanta's. That's a whole different story. They're really rebuilding. Now, Tampa Bay's still up there. But for Carolina to even be in that realm, they got to keep Christian McCaffrey healthy. Sam Darnold needs to do the best that he can to stay relevant before they said, hey, you know what, Sam, it's time to go. But this player here, we need someone. The line needs to get fresh, fast, young, to help Christian McCaffrey find his holes and create more opportunities for plays. Because the thing is that Christian McCaffrey has been injured 2 years in a row, and the problem is that you can't do it no more. He's a way high paid running back, and if they don't get people that are young,
And they don't win if he's not on the field.
right? And so I'm glad this is a good pick. I would not necessarily say he would have been my top pick. I probably would have went for Evan Neal because of the resume that he carries, being in Alabama, and just so he would have been a better pick for me. But you know what? This is a good pick for them. So we'll give Carolina that pick, and hopefully we'll see where they're at. So the Giants did a trade swap with the Chicago Bears. They picked up Evan Neal from Alabama.
Some considered a possible number. Could have, I think early on, some mocks had him as a number 1, rated player on the board. So I think Evan Neal's the Giants. Brian Daboll's a good coach. He's new. He took over. Was it Joe Judge that was at the Giants last year? And Brian Daboll, he was at Buffalo there for a few years. I think he's a little more of a defensive coach, probably why they went with the edge first. But I think he knows the value. And also, I think this is Daniel Jones' last hope, dude. Like, hey, man, we got you help, first round tackle. You've got to make some plays now. This is your.
He's got an arm.
Is this his 4th year?
Yeah, he's got an arm. It's just that I feel, and I'm nobody to judge. Okay, so Daniel,
but they don't have a
if I say
line
anything
either,
bad about you, Daniel, no offense, bro. Okay, I'm just the guy that watches the TV show.
Yeah.
And so here's the thing: when I watched you, I feel like when I'm watching you play, you don't follow your progressions really well. You're too hasty on your throws.
One progression, then break down.
When you don't got Saquon helping you out, you're like lost.
Yeah,
you're like,
bro.
what do you do? So now that
simple
Saquon
terms.
is healthy again,
and now he's getting a new playbook
so
That's not gonna help.
do your homework, okay?
with a defensive-minded coach instead of the offensive-minded coch he had, which might be bad. I mean, maybe the offensive mind was too tricky for him, like trying to be too high skilled, like not just like let's just do the simple plays, get a first down. Like he's trying to, maybe Joe Judge's playbook was a little too extreme.
Maybe he won't do
so
a QB
maybe-
sneak on the goal line or anything of that nature. So
But I think this is kind of like, hey, yeah, I think this is last gasp for Daniel Jones. Like we did everything we can to help you, and if you can't make it happen now,
and you already know how they do it in New York. If
going the other
you keep
direction.
sucking, you're gonna get out. They're gonna kick you out. So you know how those New York fans are. Shout out to all New York fans.
I cannot believe, just to go back real quick to that Ekwonu pick for the Panthers, I can't believe that those guys haven't tried to make a trade for Garoppolo or Mayfield. The Panthers, they're going to roll with Sam Darnold again. Like,
when they were 3-0, he, like I said, with DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson, did you notice that when Robbie Anderson was with Sam Darnold, he struggled.
Yeah,
But when Cam Newton went in, that was Robbie's target.
But they didn't. They won one game with Cam Newton. It's not like they were
don't get
blowing
me
the doors
started.
off.
Oh, don't get me started. We're back. And
But that's what I'm saying. Like, why not be like, yeah, we'll take Mayfield down there. I mean, that'd be pretty fun to watch Mayfield and McCaffrey. And Mayfield's not afraid to go to Robbie Henderson.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think it'd be fun.
I do too. Sam Darnold's got to prove himself this season too.
We're gonna have to see it because
Anyway,
right now,
we're about to go to pick 8.
Yeah, we're gonna go to pick 8. So let's go to pick 8 real quick. On pick 8, we have the Atlanta Falcons. They picked up Drake London, from wide receiver from USC. Shout out to Kareem Ramos and the USC fans out South Central California. All right, so he's a good wide receiver. He was stellar in the Pac-12. Atlanta right now they're needing to rebuild because what's his name? Calvin Ridley did his little shenanigans, so he's out. So they need another until next year.
At least a year.
So for next year, he'll have someone that he can play with, and that will work. So we're going to see what happens. I mean, because right now Atlanta, I don't see them doing anything this year.
Yeah.
They're going to still struggle. So
I feel like they could have
They've got
more picks defensively or somewhere else. I feel like receiver shouldn't have been their top priority. Like it was a definite need, but like
I think like he's saying it was because they were scared because Ridley's out. Yeah. I mean, they did just get Pitts last year, which I mean, you got to figure he's going to pick up some slack.
I think Pitts led all rookie tight ends in receiving.
I think he broke records for rookie tight ends.
He led the team in receiving, so he did really good with them.
We'll see how he plays out. So let's go ahead and move.
They did also Atlanta because I know we're only doing first round, so big pickup. Later on, they got Desmond Ridder, which was the Cincinnati quarterback this year, took him to the CFP. So that could be an interesting competition. I don't think it'll be much of a competition, but he'll probably there's a good chance with all these quarterbacks being later round picks, other than Kenny Pickett, who that might actually be a true quarterback battle in camp. I think that like most of these quarterbacks that got picked are far enough back that they're not really competing in camp. But I think he's got a really good chance to see the field. Marcus Mariota gets hurt all the time. It's part of his game. I think it's in his contract. He has to get hurt after so many minutes of play time. But so I think that's cool. So Atlanta's going to be an interesting team. Again, I think you're right. But Drake London might be he's the top rated. I mean, he's the first wide receiver off the board. So why not get the best of what's out there?
That's true. Let's go ahead. Let's go to number 9. We have the Seattle Seahawks from that trade from Denver. They cashed out by getting Charles Cross, offensive tackle from Mississippi State, the Bulldogs. All right. Well, this is pretty simple. Seattle Seahawks are in a real rebuilding season. They just got Drew Lock in the trade. They got Nick Fant and another defensive player from Denver and some picks. So this is a smart move for Pete Carroll. He needs somebody to protect Drew Lock. Drew Lock is not a Russell Wilson. He's not a huge scrambler, but Drew Lock he shows arm strength. Yeah. Now you still got Tyler Lockett. You still got DK Metcalf. So that might work. We just got to see how this is going to get molded out. So I don't know too much about him, but I mean, he's got picked in the first round. So I mean, he must be doing something right
with this draft. When you look at Seattle's just overall draft, maybe Drew Lock's going to be their starting quarterback, but I'm sure that they're looking. They didn't pick one up in the draft, which means they're probably going to be looking to trade for one or wait for someone to release one. And they've made it very attractive to go there. They picked up several other wide receivers, the offensive linemen. It's going to be attractive for a quarterback that's looking to move.
I'm just going to throw this name out there. Why not Colin Kaepernick? I get it, the whole politics in here and there, but let's just for the essence of the player himself. He would be a beauty for Seattle if he could just refinesse a little bit of the playbook. I mean, Colin Kaepernick knows that system.
I guarantee Pete Carroll remembers losing to him in some high-stakes playoff games.
I mean, so, but I don't know.
Because that's who they beat to
Has anybody
Bowl.
picked up Teddy Bridgewater?
He's somewhere, I
think Miami did.
Okay.
That sounds right. Yeah, you're right. He's backing up.
Okay. So, and then I mean, I don't
Well, that's
know.
what-
Seattle needs to get back into the run because the problem is
They need a quarterback.
Rashard Penny, and then Chris Carson.
They did get a running back their second round.
Okay, so this is the thing. He's getting
I
injured
think that was
prone,
their-
and they need to focus on if they're especially in the NFC West that has become an elite division. You've got the Rams that just won the Super Bowl. You know, they beat you. This is time now to say, hey, we need to bring back that prestige because remember, it was that time when Seattle would run that division, then San Francisco did, and now it's the Rams. So now Seattle has to make their staple to say, hey, you know what? We want to be back on the map. So if they're going to do it, this is the time to do it.
I think they are. I mean, they got 2 offensive tackles, 2 wide receivers, and a running back in the draft this year. So
yeah, because
I mean,
Denver gave them all those picks.
Well, that's what I'm saying though. They're putting them towards the offense. They're trying to replace Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
All right. So next up, this is one of Chris's own, the New York Jets. With the trade with the Seattle Seahawks, picked up Garrett Wilson from the Ohio State Buckeyes. So tell me a little bit about Garrett Wilson real quick, Chris.
Well, I mean, he's a great route runner, really good playmaker, and he's gonna do. I mean, when you're a great route runner in the NFL, you're gonna make hay. So, I think they're good. I think they're gonna have a really good receiver there for Zach Wilson. This is obviously it's not. This is only Wilson's second year.
Yeah.
So it's not a make or break for Wilson yet, but they're trying to give him some options. I mean, we saw what Jamar Chase did for Joe Burrow. I think that just the wide receiver market in general changed this last season.
Oh yeah, I think the Jaguars.
I mean, you look at Devontae Adams, Devontae Parker, Tyreek Hill, all these guys. There's still Marquise Brown, AJ Brown, all these trades that are happening with the receivers wanting to make $20+ million a year, and so they went for a great wide receiver. Hopefully, hoping that Zach Wilson can get him the ball because they were a little light on their wide receivers. I feel like,
and I think with this addition, now they have Corey Davis, they have Elijah Moore, and they're good receivers. They're not like spectacular. I think Elijah Moore can come out this season and be spectacular, but with Garrett Wilson, I think they have a great wide receiver core now. So I have high hopes for the Jets this season, bro.
All right. Next up again, what Chris's own again,
Another
the New
one.
Orleans Saints
Boom,
with the
boom.
trade with the Washington Commanders. I still want to call them the football team. I don't know. They're Commanders. They picked up Chris Olave.
yeah, I don't know.
From Ohio State. All right, tell me a little bit about him, Chris.
Well, he's a little bit. He's more of a kind of a wide receiver too, maybe a little more slot. He's really fast, great with the vertical routes, hitting straight down. And so for someone that loves to push the ball, which New Orleans has typically been, of course, that was Sean Payton, and now who's the coach out there now?
It was their defensive coordinator.
Moved to coach.
Yep.
So yes, Garrett Allen, was that right? Dennis Allen.
Dennis Allen, yes.
So, but looks like they're still going to try to push the ball. So maybe he kept the same offensive coordinator.
All right.
Yeah,
no,
but I like that.
This is going to be and Jameis Winston, I think, is still their starter.
Yes, he's their
He's
starter.
got a huge arm, and this guy can fly.
I would keep James Winston for this year. And Taysom Hill's still there, right?
Yes, but I think Taysom Hill, he's focusing on offense now. I think he came out and said he just wants to focus on like tight end or something.
Right. He doesn't want to keep being a
package guy. Yeah, because
guys are wanting to get away from the everything back because it ruins them when they're in negotiations because they're like, the team wants to pay him for the lower paid position, and he wants to be paid for the higher paid position. And so when you're a tweener, that's how teams. That's why they love the
say that word again.
Tweener, in betweener.
Yeah. No, Chris, I get the joke. It was just funny. All right. Anyways, next up, I got to take this one. The Detroit Lions from the trade with Minnesota. We picked up Jameson Williams, my guy from Alabama. Roll Tide. Shout out to Kiki. I hope she's doing well over there, my good old friend there in Alabama. Here's the deal, you guys. Jameson Williams, top wide receiver. We were doing just great in the national championship against Georgia. He goes down with a torn ACL. Welcome to the club. He got hurt in Alabama. I'm not going to say because of him we lost, but it was a big part of it. Georgia just found their way to get out Alabama, and it was a done deal. Detroit Lions has picked up an amazing wide receiver. This is another weapon for Jared Goff. So I'm happy for Williamson going to Detroit. Detroit needs They need to bring back that spark, and hopefully Williams is going to bring a threat to them and see where they go.
I mean, Williams is a great player. It's just it's odd. Detroit doesn't seem like a team that has the luxury to let because this. I mean, he's still coming off an ACL, and I know all that stuff, the surgeries and all that aren't quite as bad as they once were. I mean, Burrow came back from 8 months later to play, not obviously not wide receiver, so not quite as shifty, but it doesn't seem like the Lions have the like capability just to be like, oh, we just got this guy, but he's gonna sit on the wings. We got plenty of other talented receivers.
Yeah.
Like that's not their wheelhouse necessarily. So that I mean, good for Williams. I mean, he's making a big payday here, but kind of an odd pick to me in my mind for.
All
the
right,
Lions.
so let's go ahead and move on to the number 13. We have the Philadelphia Eagles. Through the trade from Houston through Cleveland back to the Eagles, they picked up Jordan Davis, defensive tackle from Georgia, the national champions. So in this one, Tristan, they picked up a defensive tackle. Do you like this pick?
Yeah, I do like this pick because I feel like their offense is, especially later in the draft, but we're just talking about right now, but their offense was already, pretty good in my opinion, and they just needed to get up on defense, and that defensive tackle is really going to help them, especially against, the run in Dallas, whoever they use, Pollard, Zeke, or anything in their division. So I like this pick in short.
Okay, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. If they needed help there, he's a defensive tackle. He's a strong guy. He's one of those Georgia guys, big game experience, knows how to take on blockers. So he's a one-man wrecking crew. I mean, he's going to tear him up. So. Good for the Eagles. I don't know. I'm not a big NFC East guy, so they could all just pick 7th rounders and I'd be fine with it.
All right. So next up, we have the Baltimore Ravens. They picked up Kyle Hamilton, safety from Notre Dame. So shout out to Andrew, he's a Notre Dame fan. Also Jordan. Also, we want to give our shout out from our crew here. We have well, I forgot his name already. That's Taylor. Taylor Mays, a big Ravens fan.
Yes,
also,
Taylor is.
our friend Travis, he's a big Raven fan. I talked to him a lot. Hopefully, he's doing well. He's over here, owner of Emperor Electric Services. So we'll talk more about him later. So if you're in the Wichita area, he's a master electrician, something along the lines you're going to do, Tristan, kind of around there. So. Yeah, we always like to show support to our local businesses. So hopefully he likes the pick there. I feel they did a great job. I mean, you already on the defense side, Baltimore already. You got Humphrey. You also have Peters.
Mm-hmm.
The pass rush is great. I mean, it's great. No. Listen
I
here,
mean,
you
I'm
Cincinnati
glad-
Bengal fan.
I'm glad
listen
they didn't
up.
pick up
Here's the
another
deal.
edge.
Baltimore is going to wreck your show. Either if it's going to be one or one, but I think Baltimore, if they can stay healthy and if they can stop getting torn ACLs around and they just focus on not getting hurt in
last year
practice.
they were bit by the injury bug.
Here's the thing. Baltimore is still a team to be forced to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a team that they beat the Chiefs barely.
I just
and
hope this isn't their next Ed
off of a
Reed.
fluke.
Yeah. But here's the deal. Here's the deal. They got to get young, and at the same time, they got to get more aggressive because Cincinnati just walked on the door and said, hey, we won the division. We went to the Super Bowl.
I think
and
that it was definitely a little bit of
it's
the
an eye-opener.
Jamar Chase, T. Higgins deep ball type thing. I mean, you got a safety who's from the prospect side, draft day. This is the thing I don't like about the draft. Like, they looked great in college, but we're talking NFL.
Yeah, and can be completely different.
So my hope is that it's not their new Ed Reed because that was 10 years of hell.
Ed Reed was awesome player. He was. I'm
Not if your favorite team win against him twice a year.
All right, let's go ahead. Let's move on real quick to the Philadelphia Eagles. So through the trade through Houston, through Cleveland, they get Jordan Davis, defensive tackle from the national champions, the Georgia Bulldogs. Tristan, you like this pick?
Yeah, I mean, nothing much to it. I think it's a good pick, but
It's just they're just getting younger. somewhat a little bit stealthier getting it going. Oh, yeah, we already just talked about them. You know what? I messed that one up. We already just talked about them, didn't we? Because I went from 13.
You were
Yeah.
Wait,
we're going up.
now we're,
Okay,
now we're
can
at
you-
15.
So now let's go to 15, you guys. This guy here, they're going to say, man, that guy at Sportsfellas, I don't know what his deal is. All right, so we've got the Houston Texans at number 15. They picked up Kenyon Green, guard from Texas A&M, the Aggies. All right, Chris, you like this pick?
I do. I think the player's a great player. 15's a little high, I think, for offensive guard. A lot of for the value. I know that some mock drafts I saw Cincinnati having the availability to pick him up in the 30s. So maybe it's a little high, but you know what they say. I mean, get your guy when you can get him, because he probably wouldn't have been around by the time they picked at the top of the next round.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think that's going to be it. You know, they're really building a solid line there in Texas. I mean, this is
You
going
know
to be
how they do
a
it,
strong
Tristan, in
line
Texas?
for-
How do they do it in Texas? Everything's always bigger in Texas.
Always.
It's bigger.
Always.
So yeah, I mean, I think this is a good pick for them. This is going to help
Yeah.
them out quite a bit.
I feel like with offensive line, something they really needed, and they got an offensive lineman, but they still need a lot more to fill besides an offensive lineman. But I guess they're trying to protect their
Kid,
was it David Mills?
yeah, Davis Mills.
Yeah.
All
We'll
right.
see how that
We'll
goes
see how
for
that
'em.
goes. All right. So this is going to conclude the last one. This is going to conclude part 1 of the draft. The next show, we will do the other half of the other 32 picks. So we're going to do a little half and half. So the last pick here is the Washington Commanders at 16 through New Orleans, through Indiana, back to Philly, and back to the Commanders. I'm sorry, you guys. That's just how they do it.
Yeah.
They picked up the wide receiver from Penn State, Jahan Dotson. I know he had a great season. Penn State did some. I mean, they still can't beat Ohio. I mean, they beat Ohio State, didn't they, this year?
Penn State?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
No, it was Michigan. Why did I get my hopes up? It's always when they play Ohio State.
They do
They
usually
do all
play 'em
this good, and then once they play Ohio State, it's something. Well, this year he did a great job. He did okay.
Try
The
to beat
Commanders,
best.
the Commanders need another wide receiver threat because I mean
Yep.
Terry McLaurin can't do all the work himself because he gets doubled, almost triple teamed. So then
Who's throwing there?
is it Hinkie?
Is Heineke their
Heineke?
starter? And somehow Mayfield and Garoppolo can't get a freaking job. I mean, we got Drew Lock, Heineke, Sam Darnold somehow still getting a chance.
No, we don't know.
And we're not going to give Mayfield, who was playing with a broken shoulder last year. Mayfield is getting the rawest deal of any quarterback in the league
Oh,
right
no,
now.
because the Commanders picked up Carson Wentz.
Oh, that's right. Okay, that's right.
Yeah.
They did
Thank you,
pick him.
thank you.
I still think Mayfield's a better quarterback than Wentz, but that's better than Heineke at
Yeah.
least.
All right.
No offense, Taylor.
Yeah.
Hey, you're in the league, man. Good job.
Hey, more power
way
to 'em.
farther than I ever could have gone.
All right, so that concludes the first half of the draft. On the next show, we will talk about the other picks as well and any news that are going on in the NFL. And also, we will give follow-ups on the NBA playoffs. So let's give a quick pause and thanks to our following segments, and we will be introducing our new segment show.
Shut up and sit down.
Hey guys, it's time for Eddie Money's Sports Thoughts, brought to you by Heavenly Sense with Kim. Follow her on her website, heavenlysensewithkim.sentry.us, or make sure you call her as well at 316-282-7363. That's Heavenly Sense with Kim. Thanks a lot, Kim.
I got money.
Yeah, I need to put some candles in this studio, you guys. I could use some of that. Some
Definitely.
get some good
Need
vibes
some
going
of
on
that.
here. So I'm gonna get with Kim and help me out because this Chiefs, this kind of Arrowhead, kind of funks up a little bit around here. So we need to put that mile
No,
high
don't get
magic.
don't get too many, or else it'll end up
Get
like
that-
Mile High. It'll start a
that-
fire.
Get that mountain
Thank
breeze
you,
going.
thank you, Kim. So all right, you guys. So introducing the new show. So we are introducing Eddie Money Sports Thoughts, and right now in this first segment, this first show of it. Our first and following giveaway we will do is we were going to give away a gift card to Lids. If you are in the local or out of state area, you'll have a gift card to Lids.
Hey, I know who can use that.
who could use it.
People with heads.
Oh, nice. Or, but if you're from in town, you have another option. You have Superstar Sports at Town East or Town West in the Wichita Mall. So if you happen to come to Wichita, Kansas, and you're trying to find it, you can go to Town East Mall or Town West. We will put the address there. So we're going to start this off with the question here. In his thoughts here, we want to know, with Joel Embiid out for the playoffs with his injury, are the 76ers done for this season? What are your thoughts?
Yes.
Okay, that was pretty quick. Okay.
There's one thought on that. Yes, they're done. If not, Doc Rivers is going to be the greatest coach ever if they can pull this off somehow. Because Harden's not leading it. This isn't 10 years ago.
Yeah, they're done. I don't trust James Harden. I feel James Harden is a player. He's a great player. He's a good role player. But I don't see him as the number one guy. He had the chance to prove it to me in Houston. Couldn't do it. When he had Chris Paul, it looked like they were about to do something. Couldn't do it. I just don't see it in him. And then he goes to the Nets. Could not mesh with KD. It just wasn't the formula.
Well, and the bigger the games, the worse he plays.
But he did a great job. Like with him and Embiid together in the 76ers, I loved it. It was looking great. Match made in heaven. But then with Embiid out, I'm not going to shut him out yet. Let's give somebody hope. You don't want to take away somebody's hope. But in our opinion, for right now, where we stand, I feel they're out. So that's my thought on there. So the next one. Now I'm going to ask you this question. With the major moves happening in the NFL, with A.J. Brown and Marquise Brown being traded, would you consider this to be a strategic move on the owner's behalf, or do you feel they were looking ahead to something better? What are your thoughts?
Strategic move, or I would say both. Because these players, the receiver market, ever since the Jaguars decided to give Christian Kirk that contract, these deals that the receivers are getting are insane, and some of these teams just can't afford them, And A.J. Brown wasn't even happy in the first place. I don't think the Titans had enough money in any cap space to sign him to a big deal, which I feel like he rightfully deserves. He's a great receiver. So, it's a strategic move helping their cap space, but they also picked him up in the draft, which I feel like, they're looking young and not going to be as expensive as somebody as A.J. Brown. And then, Marquise Brown. I like that the Ravens got rid of Marquise Brown because they picked up some good receivers in the draft as well. So, strategic and looking forward in the future.
Well, and I think it was strategic from the players' perspective because I think both of those players wanted out of their systems because they're in run-first systems.
Oh,
and they want catches so they can get paid.
Definitely.
They need numbers for bigger numbers. And so for them, and like you said, the teams that they're coming from can't invest that because they're invested into the run game and or the defense as well to keep the games score low so they can have a run game.
Yeah.
So they're not focused. I mean, obviously they need receivers. Every team needs receivers, but they're not focused on that passing game. And those guys want to go to places where they can get some passes, and that's what they did. They both went to more pass-friendly offenses. I would say, well, A.J. Brown went to Philly, right?
Yes.
Is that right? So that's a crapshoot. I'm not sure what's going on in Philly based on last year. That's a pretty good. Maybe they have a really good balance.
I love what's going on.
Here's the thing, and my thoughts on this is A.J. Brown, he got a steal to go to Philly.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing. Jalen Hurts is going to throw him the ball. He's going to be used more and be more involved, and with the constituents of the players that are there. Now you have a run game that's not bad. It's not too shabby. I mean, your offensive line, you gotten younger, and Jalen Hurts is a good quarterback. I mean, he's not top 10, but he's all right.
I think
A.J. Brown, he brings a presence to the game. So now it's like, okay, that guy's good. We're gonna have to figure out how we're gonna do, especially when they play against Dallas. This is gonna be the interesting part. I want to see what they're going to do in this scenario. Now, on the flip side, with Marquise Brown going to the Cardinals, that's not bad either, because with them letting go of Christian Kirk, and now with now I forgot his name.
They still have
D-Hop
or AJ
D-Hop.
Green.
With D-Hop coming back, AJ Green, he's not.
He'll still take pressure.
AJ Green did good this season.
He's okay.
He's not the number one anymore.
When D-Hop was gone,
AJ Green's a number 2 now.
Yeah, so you got Marquise Brown,
who will take the top off.
He'd go, and then So this is not bad at all. But I like the key point that you said, and this is the thought that deserves money, because like what you said, the strategic moves is they're trying to go on to newer and better and save money, because now we're in a league, like you said, it's all about money. It's all about numbers. Hey, if you're not making my quota, you're making the cops look bad, because these cops, shout out to all our cop fans. We know we got some cops that are hearing. I don't want them to say, oh, they put us on blast, but they got to meet a quota. They got to meet a quota.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just, it is what it is. We did you hear when Gronk went on the, what's that show? I always listen to
I know he went on show. I don't know.
Pat McAfee.
No. It's
I
a
know what
night
you're
show. It's a
talking
night
about,
show.
but he was saying that like they would either
Jimmy Kimmel and the Jimmy Kimmel show, when
Yeah.
Gronk said, "Hey, I got my $1 million bonus," and you heard him on the mic up. He goes, "Hey, pass me the ball. Hey, have you got your bonus? I'll get your bonus."
Well,
and remember that was that controversy with what's his name,
Brady?
Antonio Brown. That's why he got mad at that game at the
they're
Jets.
saying they weren't throwing
throwing the ball to give him his bonus. But I don't know. That's a story for another day. So that concludes Eddie Money's sports thoughts. So you know already, you guys, if you want to get your free giveaways and all that, you know what you got to do. You got to sign up, and also stay tuned to our show. Chris, where can they go to listen to our shows?
Well, if they have an internet available device, you can go to
Really, you got to
YouTube.
use that? Wow.
Trying to get all fancy there.
No,
No,
fancy.
guys, anywhere you listen to your podcast, iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, any of those things. I mean,
Yeah, so on the YouTube, we're
search
under
us
Razor
up.
Cut Information. On Spotify, we're on RCI Podcast, and also on iTunes as well. Now, you guys, if you guys want us to, you want to give a shout out to your team, you want a personal shout out, hey, we don't charge.
that's
Just
right.
let us know, and we'll do it for you. We'll make it mainstream. Now, if you're trying to propose, give us some time. We want to do it right for you, okay? So if you want to, confess your love, or if you're in your feelings and you just want to just be like the Chiefs after they lost their game, and you just want to just talk to us, we'll put a slow song for you, no charge, nothing. We'll do it for you. And then if you're like the Denver team, we just disappear, we'll put a sad song. It's not a big deal. But overall, just know here at Razor Cut Information as the entity, besides sports, if you want to know a little bit more about movies, what shows do we have about the movie? We've got
you got Silver Cosmos movie reviews. Check that out for sure. Also, if you want to get more in depth on all these comic book movies coming out, we have Wichita Vice, where we get really in depth with the actual comic book characters, as well as talk about their various other media appearances in cartoons, comic books, or cartoons, movies, TV shows. So,
and if you want someone funner, like if you want The View meets Dr. Phil meets a bunch of people on MTV, whatever shows.
Jerry Springer. No,
Hey,
just kidding.
that's
Not
a little
Jerry
too
Springer.
far.
Not Jerry Springer.
Wrap that all up. Hey, listen into the Cutting Crew. And right now, we're going to do a special edition show. We're going to kind of do a throwback. We're going to do online dating redo.
Yeah,
We're going to do a redo on that. So this is.
I already talked to Lisa about that. She's got some stories, she says.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
got some
So
stories.
we're going to be talking about that as well. Any final shout outs you want to give before we go?
Yeah, shout out to my LA Angels. We're off to a good season. It's looking good for me. I think we're gonna make the playoffs this season.
This guy.
Yeah, my poor Royals, they're struggling. They just can't hit the dang ball, guys. But shout out to all the Royal fans out there. I know I don't have it in my opening because I'm not a huge baseball guy, but if I do support them, it's Royals. So shout out to them. Shout out to Daniel at my work, Jeff. Hey guys, thanks for listening.
All right, you guys. We want to do our thoughts and prayers goes out to all the friends and family. We here in Kansas, especially in the Andover northeast area of Kansas, we went through a tornado, a lot of damages going on. From the Razor Cut Information / with the Sports Fellas here, our thoughts and prayers go out to you guys. Just know that we're here for you guys, and also it's all about rebuilding, uplifting, and you're in our thoughts and our prayers. Also, always, I'm thankful for you guys for coming in. I cannot wait for the NFL season. Thank you, Dristan. Thank you, Chris.
6 months.
It's a long way.
Only 3 months away.
Let's give a quick thanks also to Eric. Hey, Eric, I appreciate everything you do. And I really appreciate pal. Thank you so much for making the graphics look nice.
Word.
Also, we want to give a quick thanks to Tim and Leo. Thanks for believing in what we're doing. And just there's some people that behind the scenes that don't get some recognition. So we're going to throw it out there today.
Thanks, guys.
We want to also say from the west to the east. Let's go with the west real quick. Marie and family out there in Newport Beach, California. Big 49er fans out there.
West side.
Hope you're doing well out there. Then let's bring it on over to Brandon and Yoli. Wishing you guys the best. There's your Raider fans. And then also let's go shift over here. We have Jess. Jess is right now in Savannah, Georgia. She's in the Air Force right
hey, there you
now.
go.
She's hanging out with all the guards out there, taking care
Savannah.
of business. Savannah, Georgia. Hope you're doing well out there. So this show's for you guys, and we thank everybody out there just doing what they got to do. Also, our frontliners. Let's give a thanks to all our nurses, our teachers, the people that serve food. I want to say that appreciate everyone that do what they do every day. For the fellow person that's working, trying to improve on themselves, to all the single parents that are just doing double work, being a parent and surviving out there. So, and then all our graduates that are about to graduate, shout out to everybody there. Just being thankful in everything that we do, you guys. And all we can do is just keep looking up and getting better at the things that we do. So from Sports Fellas here, we want to say thank you for tuning in, and we look forward to hearing from you guys to the next show.